And we're live. Welcome to Virtual Media Day 2020. This is Agnes Scott Softball Edition. I am Josh Cornwall. I am the Assistant Athletics Director for Communications at Agnes Scott College in Decatur, Georgia. I am joined by three prominent members of our softball program, and head coach Kerry Busby, and juniors now, Michaela, Dailey, and Sarah Fox. If you don't mind, would you all go around introducing yourselves, and we'll get right into it.
Hi, I'm Kerry Busby. I'm the head softball coach at Agnes Scott. I am in my 7th year at Agnes. I was assistant coach in GA for 2 years. This is my 5th season as a head coach here.
Hi, I'm Michaela. I'm a junior and I play third.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a junior as well, and I play shortstop.
Awesome, thank you. So let's just get right into it. It's been a weird year for everybody, ranging from starting seasons to canceling the seasons to Agnes being virtual for pretty much the last 7 months academically. This is you two are specifically are part of a kind of a recruiting class that was part of like a foundational culture change, so to speak. And we only got to play 10 games. We only got to see you all for 10 games, but there was a lot of improvement from your first year to your second year that was really noticeable to everyone outside of the team. Now, we played a tough schedule of those first 10 games, and I think even when we weren't sure how those next couple of weeks were going to go, it looked like we could stack a couple wins on top of each other, and obviously that just didn't get to happen. So let's just kind of walk through what the emotions were entering the year as we were going, and then as things kind of progressed in a not so fun way. So, Coach, feel free to.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned culture, and they are part of a huge culture shift in our program, and that was an intentional thing. And, you know, I'm extremely proud because in the 2019 spring season, there were just a few moments that this group as first years just kind of, you know, got this whole team together and made them rally around the same idea. So I'm extremely proud of this now junior class because they were a big movement in the shift of our culture, as well as our seniors from last year. You know, they've worked their butts off to kind of get the program where it is. But, you know, going into the season of 2020, we were on a high. You know, we were ready. We were excited. We had goals in mind. We felt good ending our previous season. I think at the end of the year when we had all that big cookout, I think I told your parents, like, you know, I know this isn't the result we wanted, but you can feel it and I can feel it too. And, you know, I'm getting tingly right now talking about all the things we can do. You know, it was a high. It was exciting. We knew it was going to happen. In 10 games, we hit 6 home runs. We had a team batting average of over 300, you know, had crazy slugging averages, and we had 2 players with over 500 batting averages. I mean, that's, I think, the best start we've had since I've been here. And, you know, to have the brakes put on so quickly, it was almost like well, personally, I was in shock for a while. I couldn't believe it was happening. You know, I think it took me a while to realize what was going on. It took the players a lot less time to figure out what was going on and all their emotions around it. But it was tough, you know. It was just a tough moment for us. I know you guys probably have some comments to weigh in on the whole situation.
Yeah, either of you just kind of take us through like early March to not really getting to come back from break.
Well, I remember me and Sarah sitting down in Campbell. Do you remember when I first told you guys what was going on?
Yeah, that was heartbreaking. I know whenever we came back from spring break, nobody was on campus, and we got that text from Coach saying, "Hey, I need to talk to you guys. I'll meet you downstairs in the lobby." And we were like, "Oh gosh!" We kind of knew at that point. We were like, "Well, it was starting to get bad at that point, and we knew it was that was going to be the answer we were looking for at the time." I know at the beginning of the season, I know everyone was so excited, like the attitude had changed, especially us juniors now. We were so excited to play. We knew the shift was coming, and we were like, we're ready to go. We're ready to go. Like, we want to play. And, as soon as we got that news, we were headed in a good direction, I believe. As Coach said, everybody was so excited. We were all pumped up to play. But, as soon as we got that news, it was just heartbreaking because we knew we were headed in a good direction.
I think for me, sorry, guys.
No, how about you, Michaela?
I think we were really starting to push forward, and we kind of learned what we needed to fix on. And it wasn't anything huge. I think just team culture-wise was such a positive thing in the spring that when we got cut short, it was kind of like, well, what do we do now? We weren't with our teams every day. We weren't able to be with each other during such a hard time. And I think for me, and just even now, it's kind of, we never got closure from a season that would have been our season. We had the seniors that we never got to finish with. We can't really go back and fix it and can't redo it. So it just kind of sucks, but I think it just makes us more pumped up for the upcoming season because you really don't know, are you going to be able to play next week? You never know what's going to happen. So I think it just kind of taught us a lot, no matter how negative it was. I think it just kind of pushes us a little bit more the upcoming season.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So getting past the past of kind of those negative feelings and negative emotions and kind of going into a growth mindset, so to speak, how do you take kind of that momentum that you were building end of 2019 into the 2020, and knowing that you haven't even necessarily gotten to meet all of your new first year teammates yet because we're still digital as an institution. How do you install that type of culture and wanting to maintain a positive direction as an entire team, both as athletes and as people digitally? How do you do that?
Okay. I guess I'll go.
Yeah, go for it.
I think first it started with Coach and who she recruited, because we're not going to recruit people who aren't going to positively fit in with our team culture that we're trying to build. So I think it starts there. And then at least captain wise, we're trying to set the tone for how we're going to be in the spring, but without overwhelming people, because everybody, it's a lot right now. It's something new. It's something we've never done. And so I think it just comes into play a lot of team bonding. We've had game nights. We've trying to do a spooky movie night for Halloween. It's just little things that we can do that don't pertain to softball that we can actually get to know each other, because all of us know how to play. All of us know how to practice. It's not really the place to get to know your team. So if we can try to at least begin that conversation of getting to know our teammates on another level. So when we come spring, we've already bonded. We've got some knowledge of each other that we can just hit the ground running.
Exactly. I agree with you. We've already talked to each other through team meetings. We've already done bigs and littles, and everyone's bonded pretty well. I would think so. Everyone's gotten along pretty well. So we try to implement go ahead and starting to talking to each other, getting to know each other well, so we don't have that problem when we do come back in the spring, if we do. That nobody doesn't really know each other. We're all still getting along pretty well, even though we're all virtually. It sucks, but we're still trying to do our best, especially as captains, to implement everybody, getting to know each other, talk to each other, communication wise, getting stuff done. We hold each other accountable for workouts, softball drills that we send in every Tuesday and Wednesday, but we try to keep each other communication up top as much as we can. So it helps a lot.
How about you, Coach?
Yeah, I think what I told one of our seniors, Caitlin Weaver, was, hey, it doesn't matter. Everything doesn't have to be a big event. It doesn't have to matter exactly how we choose to bond at this moment, because we're all under a lot of pressure right now. You're under a lot of pressure with classes. more people are expecting more out of you, because everyone just thinks you're sitting at home and you're not working, you're not doing all these things. And the reality of the situation is you are. And bonding with each other, softball shouldn't be a stressor. It should be a positive stress, if anything else. It should be something you want to go out and do. You want to go hit balls. And so the message I kind of conveyed to her, because I'm a firm believer in putting people in the position that they're going to be most successful in. So our captains, Sarah, Michaela, and Dailey, they got a lot on their plate in addition to being captains. So if this person, if our senior, wants to take on the role of team bonding, then let's let her do it. Was to keep it simple. Talk about Dancing with the Stars. Talk about, send little Snapchats every now and then. Have a Halloween costume party, and it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be anything. Send a little Apple iPhone game, once a week. Just connect with each other outside of everything else. We did do a more formal thing. We did do a Kahoot game in the beginning of the year, and I had a lot of fun making that game. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but it made me laugh. So if I'm laughing, then I hope everyone else is laughing with me or at me. It's fine either way.
Okay, important question before we move on to our next part. What are we choosing for spooky movie night?
Okay.
Wait, we don't know?
Come on, guys. You know how much I love Halloween. So
what was it, like Hocus Pocus and something else? Like
Halloween Town.
Yeah.
Okay, these are all great choices.
Yes.
As a former Salem, Massachusetts resident, I give a vote for Hocus Pocus. All right. So before we conclude, I just want to do a quick preview of what spring 2021 will hopefully look like. We've already talked about the culture building of 2019, continuing to 2020. As now senior leaders, well, junior leaders, but senior leaders as terms of structure, what does this season look like for you, both as individuals, but also in terms of on-field and off-field success? Like how do we determine what that success is? And you don't have to put like a win total out there. I just mean, what does that next step look like to you?
I think team-wise, when it comes to playing, is everybody buying in like quickly, because we shouldn't be 6 games in and then, I want to buy in now to what our team has been trying to build on. I think that needs to, from the get-go, we start that now. We start that conversation of like, hey, what's it going to take for you to really like give us everything you got mentally, physically, whatever it is. Like, we're your team. We're going to support you regardless of if you need a little extra this or an extra that, we'll help you out. But I think just to be successful in the spring, we need to all buy in quicker and really just go harder than we did last season, because, hey, like, all of us are kind of salty that we don't get to finish our season, because that would have been it. So I think take the season and really appreciate it more than you would have originally.
And I agree. I'm going to add on to that. But so I think of last season as like not a stopping point, but more of a pause. And I want to keep that momentum going, because I know a lot of us are just like, we want to get back out there, like, pausing the season right then and there. And now we're starting to practice on our own. It makes me miss, coach. Like I was thinking the other day, I was like, I miss being out on the field, like her coaching, yelling at us to do this and this, sprint harder and harder. Like I just miss it, I have it open in my head, and I'm like, I want to be back on campus with my team and just to go harder. And I have a feeling like we're going to carry this momentum from last season to this season, that we're going to go harder than, even last season. And I want the first years, buy into that. Like Michaela said, we have to implement that into them as well. So, the more momentum that us like upperclassmen have, the more that they're going to have as well. And I feel like we're going to come back. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, I miss you guys too. I really do. I've started filming our virtual workouts and talking to them in them, so they could get my lovely. What do I have? I have a lot of weird comments that I make. I'm sure I have a bunch of cliche sayings all the time, right? Like,
so you're a college coach. You have a bunch of sayings. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much.
Yeah, but I've started filming them. So one, it makes it easier because I don't know how to describe all the things that we're doing, but I'm also demonstrating them. So no excuses. Because if I can do it, you can do it. Also, I'm not an outfielder, so I can definitely do it. But also just so they had that voice in their head. But, like they both said, it's a pause. Let's go. Let's get back. Let's get going. We have 8 amazing first years. I know they're motivated. They wouldn't be here if they're not motivated. We all know what we lost, all of us. Even though our first years, which a lot of them are from Georgia, so they didn't lose out on a fall season or on their softball season. But we have some first years that did lose out on their softball season or had a big break in their softball season, and they lost it too. And I think that's the driving factor this year is let's stay motivated and do what we know is right and what is responsible, and then come back and hit the ground running. And, we have to integrate our first years into everything. Basically, they got to come in and we got to treat them like family. And that's where the buy-in starts is, they come in and they're our family. They're a piece of us. Whether, we have good days, bad days, they're a piece of us, and we do what's right by everybody else. But we're ready. I'm ready to come in running. Your gear is already packed up, ready to go in the office. Like, we're ready. We're ready to go. I just want y'all to come out and have the field groomed and in perfect shape and just be able to hit balls to you. I'm sure Coach Marty wants to just launch them at you. And, just kind of go. I want to go through game situations. We all want to. And we just want to hit the ground running and just get out on the field. The biggest win this season is being on a field and playing a game. I think after that first game, everyone's just going to have a sigh of relief. We did it. It happened. Let's go. Let's go.
Well, that's all my questions I have for today. I just want to thank the 3 of you for coming out and just hanging out with me. It's nice to see your faces, and I am very looking forward to tasting some Oakhurst Park dirt in the near future.
Us too.
Sooner rather than later.
Us too. The backstock stops up. We're all looking good. Talked to Dwight the other day too.
Thanks for your time, and go Scotties.